Suzanne Aubert was born in 1835 into a Catholic family near Lyon in France. When she was just 25 years of age and against the wishes of her family, she signed up to be a missionary in Aotearoa. Her great desire was to work with Māori.
The desire never left her, and then with the missionary correspondence that happened in a place like Lyon in France, she read the publications, she read the French Marist priests' communication back home. She was just, something inside her was fired up, and so she really wanted to come and share the goodness of God, the love of Jesus with everybody, but particularly with the Māori people whom she had heard so much about from the current missionaries in New Zealand, and most particularly from Bishop Pompallier.
She migrated to New Zealand from France in 1860 and became known as Mere Hohepa. She learned to speak and write te reo on the grueling 3-month journey on a whaleboat. Suzanne Aubert came to Aotearoa to work with the most in need, especially Māori.
She felt the call and the call of our Māori people.
She became us. She became a Māori, and her whole life and her ways were Māori.
To the Māori people, she was a mother sent from God.
She was a woman of great faith who lived an inspirational life of heroic service and compassion. She spent most of her life working with vulnerable children and those in most need in society. She was the founder of New Zealand's only homegrown religious order, the Daughters of Our Lady of Compassion, known today as the Sisters of Compassion. She became known for many other things as well. She became an expert in traditional Māori medicine while developing her own herbal remedies. She earned the respect and admiration of local iwi. She moved to Hawke's Bay, where she worked with the local Māori community. Then she went to Jeruharama, Jerusalem, up the Whanganui River, where she founded the religious order, the Daughters of Our Lady of Compassion, and began looking after vulnerable babies and young children.
When Mother Mary Aubert came, new light. I could see this new light in her that just changed the whole atmosphere of Jeruharama.
In 1899, Suzanne and 3 sisters set to work in Wellington. They provided food and clothing for the needy and established New Zealand's first home for the disabled. The sisters set up a creche and soup kitchen and opened their doors to all comers. For Suzanne, Christ was in everybody. Suzanne Aubert never stood still. After a huge fundraising effort, an impressive new Home of Compassion hospital in Island Bay was built for the care of vulnerable babies and children. At the age of 78, she travelled to Rome to get papal recognition for her order and spent her last years back in Wellington. When she died in 1926, aged 91, thousands of people lined the streets of Wellington to honour her. It was one of the largest funerals ever given a woman in New Zealand. For more than 100 years, the Sisters of Compassion have kept her spirit alive. Their example has inspired generations. Suzanne's heroic life of service is currently being closely examined in Rome. The Pope has already declared her a servant of God, and she has attained the title of Venerable. The final stages towards being recognised as a saint in the Catholic Church are for her to be beatified and finally canonised. When her cause is successful, it will be one of the biggest things for the Catholic Church in New Zealand and for the whole country. While we wait for the outcome of the Vatican inquiries and examination, New Zealanders are being invited to consider retracing the footsteps of Suzanne Aubert, Meri Hohepa, throughout Aotearoa, New Zealand. If you would like to know more about this extraordinary French woman who made New Zealand her home, there are many resources available on this website.
And of course, everybody is most welcome here at Island Bay, the final resting place of Suzanne Aubert. There is something very special about standing here in the footsteps of Suzanne Aubert and to reflect on her love of God and her love for New Zealanders most in need, which she translated into action. Thank you for your prayer support for the cause of Venerable Suzanne Aubert.
Thanks be to